Good evening, everybody. Anjali ma'am, good evening. Lavina ma'am,
Good evening, sir.
Miss Lavina. I think madam has joined. Hello, Miss Lavina. Can you hear? We have Lavina C. I have made you co-host, ma'am. Hello. Anjali ma'am, can you hear me?
Yes, sir. I think, sir, she is requesting to unmute.
Yeah, we have already made her co-host.
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, good evening. I think, can we
I
start?
was to unmute. Sorry.
Viju sir, are you there?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, I think we can start. Lavina ma'am, can we start?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Viju sir, please introduce the moderator. Mr. Biju?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Yeah, please.
With over 2 decades of experience, Anjali Nair has established herself as a seasoned educator in the field of education management. Her career journey reflects a strong commitment to student-centered learning, effective communication, and a profound passion for teaching. Her expertise spans across diverse areas, including research, e-learning, classroom management, lesson planning, and educational technology. Notably, Anjali's exceptional contributions have earned her recognition, as exemplified by her ranking in the top 1% of passionate educators worldwide in the prestigious International Teachers Olympiad 2023. Her achievements also extend to becoming the first educator from an IB school in MP to have an article published on the International Baccalaureate's blog. Her impact-felt teacher training sessions underline her commitment to excellence. In essence, she embodies the essence of a lifelong learner and a transformative educator. Hearty welcome, Ms. Anjali Nair. Please take over the stage.
Thanks for the lovely introduction, sir.
Yeah, ma'am, please proceed. Thank you.
A very pleasant evening to everyone. Greetings from Extra Mile. Welcome everyone to this insightful webinar hosted by Extra Mile, which is an exclusive platform created by founder of BTAC, Dr. Abdul Salam Sir, for providing online and offline training. I'm Anjali Nair, your moderator, and together we will explore effective ways of mentoring for leaders, aspiring leaders, and teachers. As we embark on this journey of learning and growth, I take a moment to express my gratitude to Dr. Abdul Salam Sir for giving me this opportunity to moderate this webinar on the topic, Creators of Impact, Effective Ways of Mentoring. Warmest regards to all participants who have joined us on this fruitful journey to understand the effective ways of mentoring. Before we begin with today's session, there are a few things that I would like to brief you about. Any query during the session can be conveyed through the meeting chat box. In order to have an interactive experience, you may clear your doubts by asking questions. Kindly use a virtual hand raise button and wait for your name to be called out for asking your question. The participants will have the opportunity to receive a certificate only after filling up the certificate and feedback form. Link will be shared at the end of the session. Kindly stay till the end of the session. Let me now invite Dr. Abdul Salam Sir, Principal of Vibgyor High, Bangalore. He has worked as the Assessor of NABET, Government of India. He is a CBSE resource person and master trainer, founder and CEO of BTAC, and now the Extra Mile. I welcome you, sir, for the presidential address.
Yeah, thank you. Good evening, ma'am. Good evening, everybody. Hearty welcome once again to Extra Mile Education and Training. Good evening, Lavina, ma'am. Thank you for offering this particular topic, which we have been looking forward to and which we have not dealt with till date. Well, creators of impact, dealing with mentors and mentoring or mentors and mentees. It's very useful for everyone in an institution, especially the new joinees who is always, looking forward to having a holding, with respect to the tasks she is expecting to perform in her or his best of abilities. And in fact, this aspect is of great emphasis by CBSE as well. As you know, we have hub of schools wherein the mentor-mentee system is available. So I feel that every school should have this buddy system. We call it buddy system, wherein the mentor and mentee relationship, is there to enhance the professional relationship, hand-holding, and making tasks or the job easy for both of the people who are engaged in the process. Definitely, it is a kind of a positive approach towards helping the other person who is in need of a helping hand. So definitely, this session is going to open up many of our eyes because we can see a lot of conflicts in the workplace caused by a lot of aspects, including egotism. I should openly say it is present everywhere. But as an open-mindedness, as a mentor, how to handhold the mentee and inculcate or develop a very healthy atmosphere in the institution is very important. So let's listen to Lavina, ma'am. Thank you so much, ma'am, for offering this session. We are all our ears are open to your words of wisdom. Thank you, Anjali, ma'am. Thank you, everybody, for joining. Over to Anjali, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thanks for such a beautiful platform where we can learn a lot today. We have another educator who has a passion for fostering academic growth and is the co-founder of BTAC. He is the principal of Gokulam Public School, Trivandrum. I cordially invite Mr. Biju S. Pillai, sir, to articulate his views and felicitate the gathering. Biju, sir, over to you.
Thank you, ma'am. Good evening to all. As you know, today's session has got very high value because, as our director told, the effective ways of mentoring has got a great value, especially in the educational sector, where the mentor who has got the responsibility to train each and every person, especially whether it is a principal, whether it is a vice principal or any other HODs, whoever it is, their style of controlling the people, making the leadership qualities, all that gives a very high importance for the achievement or accomplishment of that entire educational sector, where each and every role can be monitored very specifically. So today's session has got much value, and I welcome all the educators to this platform, as every week or every new sessions which we are coming with such an enlightening new topics, which is highly effective for all the educators around the globe. Thank you all. I remain. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Today we have a versatile resource person with us who is a seasoned education professional with an extensive 26-year background in teaching and administration, both within schools and as a consultant for CBSE, ICSE, and SSC schools. Her career has been marked by active engagement in shaping the educational sphere. She has facilitated the growth of educators through in-service training and offered crucial counseling to parents and students. Innovatively, she has implemented academic incentive programs to celebrate student achievements and fostered inclusive education by guiding learners with disabilities, ensuring an environment conducive to every student's success. In her capacity as a private educational consultant, she aided schools in affiliations and empowered teachers with effective methodologies through workshops. Her dedication to excellence has been acknowledged through 7 prestigious awards. As a CBSE resource person and member of the CBSE Bharat Sahodaya, she had the privilege of conducting professional development training across India and the Gulf countries. This experience honed her leadership skills, enabling her to implement innovative educational strategies and advocate for collaborative learning communities focused on continuous improvement. Currently, she holds the position of Assistant Teaching and Learning Supervisor, overseeing student well-being activities in a senior secondary school. Her role allows her to blend her passion for education with expertise, ensuring a holistic approach to student development. She has been driven by an unyielding passion for education, innovation, and collaborative growth. Eager to embark on new challenges, she is committed to making a lasting impact on the educational landscape, fostering an environment where every student can flourish and every educator can thrive. Ladies and gentlemen, it's my pleasure to present to you our esteemed resource person, Ms. Lavina Chauhan. Please join me in welcoming Ma'am Lavina Chauhan. Ma'am, I request you to take over the proceedings for the evening.
Thank you so much, ma'am, for the elaborate introduction. And thank you, Abdul Salam, sir, for welcoming me.
Lavina ma'am,
Yes.
Anjali ma'am, would you be able to share the PPT?
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am. Yeah. Yes, ma'am. Very good. Yeah.
Thank you, Anjali, ma'am.
Welcome,
And
ma'am.
thank Dr. Salam. So here we begin. Creators of Impact. The very title, Creators of Impact, will bring you to a realization that mentors are just not leaders, but they are impactful leaders. Okay, so let's go to the next slide. I just want to brief you with what I just meant by creators of impact. Okay, leadership today. The differences that you see is manager, leader, mentor. All the 3 are leaders, but today we will be seeing what is the difference in the 3 and how important mentorship is for any organization. So let me move ahead by asking you, what is the difference in leader, manager, and mentor? Please, could you post your answers on chat? Can I have your answers on chat, please? Yes, I can see that. Some have said mentor is a guide, leader shows the path, or leader leads. Anyone else? Leader is the topmost, manager executes, mentor decides the framework. Okay, leads the followers. Okay, anyone else? Manager manages, manager facilitates, mentor helps others in finding potentials. Okay. Leader guides the manager. Manager assigns the work to the mentor. Mentor does the work. Okay. So most of us have a vague idea of what a mentor is. Correct? Let me tell you the difference. Let's go to the next slide. Okay, now here's the difference. A manager is a person who manages the day-to-day work. Okay? In any organization, you have managers, whether it's a corporate or whether it's teaching, you have different kinds of managers, like you have the HODs, you have the supervisors, you have the heads of sections, you have the headmistress, you may have the vice principal, the principal. All the leadership positions are managerial positions. So what does a manager do? Basically, a manager in an organization is the one who manages, who controls, who administers, plans, organizes, and is focused on the result. Okay, so each manager is more worried about what the result is going to be, or what are the achievements that they are looking for, or what is the goal of the organization. Or a manager will also think that, if the stakeholder, to please the stakeholders, if they are happy and the result is good, the school will move to the next level. Okay, now let's move from the managerial role to the leadership role. Now, a leader is more focused on motivating the team, because he cannot work on one or two people in the team. A leader has to motivate everyone in the team so that the teamwork makes the dream work, right? So therefore, the leader is more focused on keeping the team together so that his or her vision is manifested. Okay. Now let's look at the mentor. What does a mentor do? A mentor takes this leadership to the next level and helps the team to develop and reach the full potential. Basically, the mentor focuses on the potential each and every individual has in the team in order to take them to the next level, or in order to exceed the expectations of the management. So that is what a mentor does. Okay. So let's move on to see the difference between the mentor and the manager. Ma'am, can we have the next slide? Yes. Now here you will see a number of differences. A mentor is a supportive person, but manager assesses performance. Mentor offers advice, suggestions, but a manager will provide a feedback based on the rubric of assessment. Okay, or based on certain criteria. A mentor is approachable, and you can talk to the mentor. The mentor will guide you. Okay, it's like a two-way communication. But manager level is more of dictation. Okay, a mentor will be interested in a long-term career development, but a manager will micromanage things to make sure that the tasks are completed in that short period of time. So he or she focuses more on the short-term task completion. Now, for a mentor, a mentor is more approachable. Okay, but a manager, imagine you have to ask for leave. The first question that comes to your mind is, will my leave be approved by the manager? Okay, so the relationship with a mentor is different from the relationship with a manager. A mentor is always open to listen, to to share things, to be more flexible, whereas a manager is not typically interested in what the person is going through, or what the person has to accomplish. The manager will be more interested whether the goal is achieved and whether we can move further. Okay, a mentor can become a friend. A manager also can become a friend, but it is less likely. Okay, mentors are champions who take up new challenges, they take up risks. Okay, but a manager will think 3 times before taking a risk because they are more result oriented. Okay, let's go to the next slide. Now, here is the description of a mentor. A mentor is someone who actually sees more talent and ability within you than you see in yourself and helps bring it out of you. This means that a mentor actually is paving the way for your success. So definitely a leader and a manager can be a mentor as well. Okay. So in order to bring about the best in a person, the mentor is the best person because the mentor can play the role of manager as well as the leader. But sometimes leaders and managers find it difficult to play the role of a mentor. I will tell you why. By the end of the session, you'll realize why I'm saying this. Okay, ma'am, could we move on to the next slide? Can someone tell me, after you have heard all that I have said, what are the key characteristics that a mentor should have? What should be the key characteristics of a mentor? You can post your answers in the chat box, please. Yes, I can read some of the answers. Key characteristics: observant, approachable, very good. Mindfulness, open, flexible, ready to help. Kind, very important. Welcoming, okay. Empathetic, very good. A very good listener. Yes. So basically you updated, yes. So basically you all have understood what should be the key characteristics of a mentor. Okay. But all this, all these key characteristics, when you put them together, there are a lot of procedures or there is a process that the mentor has to go through, which we can see in the next slide. Okay. So when we put down all the characteristics that you have mentioned in the chat box, mentoring involves motivation, advice, success, direction, coaching, support, goal, and training. So it involves a process in which all these aspects are covered. Now, one thing that we mentors have to keep in mind is that we are mentoring adults. And when you are mentoring adults, you must know their behavior. You must know the changes in their behavior. You must know their preferred learning styles because teaching students at school is different from, managing adults. Okay. So, ma'am, please could you share the next slide? So, adults are more goal oriented. Okay. Because they know that by the end of the year, they need to achieve these things. So they know that there are a list of things which they need to achieve by the end of the year. Okay. So they set a goal for themselves, or sometimes the organization tells them to set a goal. Okay. So they are given targets, and in order to achieve those targets, they set goals. Okay. And also remember that adults are relevancy oriented. Relevancy oriented, by this what I mean is, whatever goals that they set, they know that those goals should be practical, should be achievable, should be smart, should be time bound. So they know that learning has to be applicable to their work and it should add value. Now, as a mentor, you should know two key questions. Whenever you begin any project or whenever you start mentoring the teachers or your colleagues or those who are aspiring leaders in the group, always remember these two questions. One is, what do I want my mentee to know? And what should the mentee be able to do? It's not that what the mentee should know, but also what the mentee will be able to do. Okay. Now, once this is clear, the next key question that you should keep in mind is, what evidence would I need to verify? Verify what? Verify the impact of your mentoring. You need some evidence, right? To know whether whatever you are coaching or the content that you have coached the mentee on, is it having an impact? So you need to have your evidences in place and you need to assess yourself also. Okay. So these are the two key questions which you as a mentor need to keep in mind while mentoring the mentees. Okay. Ma'am, could we go on to the next? Okay. Now, this is what I want you to understand. Adults as learners. First is, adults are goal oriented. They usually know what goal they want to attain. They decide for themselves what is important and what is to be learned. So even if you send out a notice or even if you send out a project and even if you send out certain instructions, these adults will not go by everything that you say because each one has their own ways of working. Therefore, whatever steps you send or whatever work you are asking them to do, okay, despite the fact that you've given them instructions, they will draw out a plan or they will think of different ways in which they can finish it in order to meet the deadlines. Okay. So they decide for themselves what is important to be learned. Okay. As I mentioned earlier, adults are relevancy oriented. Okay. Then they expect what they are learning to be immediately useful. Don't teach mentees certain things that will be useful to them maybe after 6 months. Always, when you are coaching someone or when you're mentoring someone, remember that you draft a plan. Of course, the plan will be in place, but don't teach them certain things that will be useful to them after a certain period of time because they will forget and it will not be effective. Therefore, expect what they are learning to be immediately useful so that whatever you have coached them for, you will see the result. Okay. Second thing, if you are giving the freedom to everyone to manage different ways of working. Okay. Maybe you are a mentor another mentor is a person who might want to, who has certain ways of working and that person would want those people to follow whatever that person is saying. Okay. So there are different mentors who have got different styles of getting the work done. Okay. So a mentor who has a democratic approach, for example, a mentor has given a project and has asked a set of mentees to find information. And then all the mentees in the group are going to bring that information and then the mentor will be collating everything together. Now, in such a situation, make sure that the information that the mentees have gathered is validated. It's very important based on their beliefs. Okay. Now, make sure that you have relevant points when you as a mentor are judging them for whatever their perspective is, for whatever their belief is, for whatever their experience is. It is very important for you to have a checklist with you, because whatever you are speaking to them also should be validated. Okay. Now, the mentors have just not become mentors overnight, right? We all go through a set of experiences. Okay. Make sure that you share experiences, but don't share it in such a way that they need to follow the same steps. Now, my experience may have, certain mixed viewpoints. Okay. And I cannot expect them to follow the same. Okay. They may have a different approach, but don't be rigid. If it is helping you to achieve your goal, let them go ahead with it. It is not necessary that the path that you followed during your experience, the same path they should follow. Yes, at certain times you may want to be firm, but remember, you are dealing with adults. So you have to be very careful about the experience that you are narrating to them and the path that you have followed. Okay. The last point on the slide is significant ability to serve as a knowledgeable resource to the trainer and to the fellow learners. Every time you share something, it should be knowledgeable. It should have key takeaways. It shouldn't be that you've shared so much or so little and the mentees go back and say that I already knew it. Or, it's just this much. So what? I could have found out on my own. That they shouldn't go back with this feeling. They should go with a feeling, yes, there was something to learn. And yes, I will apply it. Let me try. This should be the response from the mentees. And then you will see there will definitely be a change. There will be a value system. There will be a culture of learning in your team, and you will be able to achieve the results. Now, I want to share with you how you are going to deal with different learners and what are the different kinds of learners that you might come across. And while I'm narrating this or while I'm sharing this, I believe all of you will agree with me that some point of time you have come across such people in your team. Okay. So, ma'am, please could you share the next slide? Okay. Now here there are a number of people that you're dealing with every day. And these are a few that I have noted down. These are 8 of them, but maybe you're dealing with many more. Okay. Some of you may know about this. For those who do not know, I would like to share this information. But for those of you who know these kinds of people you are already dealing with, and you're trying to manage them, please feel free to share your experience at the end of the session. Okay. Now, the heckler is a person who wants to, create hindrances while, you're trying to set up an environment of learning. Okay. And while you're trying to set up an environment, heckler is a person who will always budge in and ask some unnecessary question, or will try to, distract the attention of people, and or, you're trying to say something very serious and the person cracks a joke out of it and everyone laughs. So when get work done and you're giving a serious instruction, or you are trying to project something or project a slide, and you want to explain to your colleagues or to the mentees, okay, how we are going to go about the process. Suddenly this person comes up with unnecessary questions or may come up with criticism. Now such people are hecklers. Okay. Now the talker is somebody you all know, goes on talking non-stop, doesn't want to give anyone a chance to talk. I'm sure you would have come up with some certain like these individuals. And why they go on talking is because they are actually struggling with themselves. It is not your problem, it is their problem. They keep on talking and talking and talking because it is their habit. It's become a habit for them that any topic, let it be any topic, even if it is not their subject, they will keep on talking. So the talkers are, people who over talk because, they have this inhibition in them, or you can say they have a kind of complex, an inferiority complex, wherein they feel that if they talk too much, they will be recognized. Or if they talk too much, people will think they are very knowledgeable. So they are the actual people who are struggling to stay focused. Okay. Because they feel that, okay, if I don't speak and I'm quiet, people will point out this person doesn't have knowledge and all that. So, that is the reason they will not allow you to talk. The minute you start something, they will distract and they will cut you and they will start talking. Okay. The third one is know it all. Okay. Now, there are some people, when you are talking or when you're teaching or when you're coaching, they will sit like this, as if they know everything. And when you are trying to share something or convey a message or trying to give instructions, what happens is suddenly when you see this one person in the audience sitting like this, okay, literally this expression, that expression is, I know everything. What are you telling me? So they feel they have a deep understanding of the subject, and maybe they have also, okay, but by doing this, what happens, it hinders the progress of the team. I'll tell you why. Because they are not interested in collaborative learning. They are more interested in showing off that they know everything. Okay. They tend to dominate the discussions. If you have given a group discussion, a question for a group discussion, they will be the ones who will dominate the discussion and try to show that they know everything much more than the mentor as well. They may be knowing also, but the very fact that the know-it-all is sitting in that team discussion is not to support the teammates, but is to dominate over them. So that is their job. Okay. Now the whisperer. Now the whisperer is someone who the word itself will tell you that the whisperer will not talk loudly, will not tell you, okay, the answer to a question that you have asked, will never participate. But the whisperer will definitely whisper into someone's ears. And then you feel, oh my God, I'm saying something. What's happening there? So always the whisperer will pose an impression as if he or she knows, though they don't know, but they are more engaged in whispers during discussions, distracting both themselves and others around them. Okay. Now, the next one is the silent one. Now, the silent learner prefers to remain quiet. Okay. Because some of the silent learners are knowledgeable. Okay. They're very brilliant, but they prefer to remain quiet. On the other hand, there are certain silent learners who may feel that if they actively participate or if they speak, people will make fun of them, or people may ask them questions. So they may not be comfortable answering them. And that is the reason they are silent. So they are more comfortable in absorbing information rather than sharing what they feel about it. Okay. The next one is the passive aggressive one. Now, this kind of an individual expresses resistance or frustration indirectly, okay, making it challenging for the mentor to address concerns or conflicts openly. Okay, so the passive person is the one who will sit with a frown, and the behavior of the passive aggressive person can undermine uh, a positive learning experience. So basically, this person is over there not to take in information or not to absorb information, but passive aggressive learner is who will show or who will rather express resistance or frustration, but not in a direct way, not by talking, maybe through the body language or maybe, using different gestures. Okay. Then the naysayer. The naysayer is constantly expressing skepticism or negativity about learning material or about whatever the mentor is sharing, okay, or whatever the mentor is discussing. This naysayer will always take it up negatively. He will never have a positive attitude, and this will make it very challenging for the mentor to have a constructive learning environment. Okay, because anything that you say, the naysayer will always keep on saying, no, it won't work, or no, I have had experiences in the past, okay, or no, this is not practical, this is not workable. Then the last one, that is a Pollyanna. Now, this is named after the optimistic character. The learner tends to maintain an overly positive outlook even when he or she has to face challenges. So, while positivity is generally it's generally beneficial for all, but sometimes, you know, too much of it or the extreme of it can also hinder realistic assessments of the learning process. So extremely optimistic also sometimes, might lead you to face challenges, and it will take you away from reality. So you also have to be careful from the optimist people. Now, in a setting of, let's say, 10 people in the team, if you have 8 like this, you really have to devise a proper plan of how you are going to mentor each one of them. Okay. You cannot have individual plans for each one, but you can keep all these people in mind. You can keep all these kinds of adult learners in your mind. They are your audience or they are your team members. And accordingly, you can address the issue. So whenever you are dealing with a project, or whenever you are addressing an issue, or whenever you are sharing something new, when you are sharing, prepare a plan, keeping all these different kinds of adult learners. Okay, let me take you to the next slide to tell you how it all works. Now, when you are planning, you have to keep in mind 90% where they are involved. 75% of the group, or 75% of the members in the group, they learn faster when you practice. When you give them a practice, you give them a question, ask them to solve, or you give them some hands-on activity, ask them, or give them a case study, ask them to find a solution. 75% of the group will be able to do it. but 90% of the group will be able to do it if you make immediate use of your learning by involving them. So from 90%, as we move down to 5%, you can see the more you lecture, it will not work. When you read, it will work a little. If you show audiovisual aids, it might work a little more. When you show a demonstration, it might get better. When you hold discussions, only 50% of your goal is achieved because half of them are contributing to the group, half of them are mentally present, and physically present and mentally not. So these are the challenges that you might face because this is the graph or this is the pyramid that I have shown based on the learning retention. Therefore, whenever you are mentoring, you need to keep all these things in mind because they are extremely important. Okay, let me share a case study with you right away. Ma'am, please could you share the next slide? Okay, now here is a case study. I would like you to carefully read the background, the challenge, the key mentorship moments, and after you read this case study, you have two questions below: impact assessment and scaling the program. So you have two questions. I would like you to take at least 2 minutes to read it carefully and 2 minutes to answer the question. When you're answering the question, if you are answering question 1, put number 1. If you are answering question 2, put number 2. Okay, so I would like you to go through this case study. Because as I said, quick learning and immediate application, if you go through this, you will be able to understand what I'm saying. As soon as you finish, you can start posting your answers in the chat, please. And if anyone wants to share an experience in 10 seconds, uh, Dr. Salam, can we unmute them in case anyone wants to share their experience?
Definitely. Anjali, ma'am, you can please tell them if they want to speak up.
Because sometimes there's too much to write, but only 10 seconds for sharing the experience so that everyone gets a chance.
Correct. Also, they can share their own experience. Right.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I can see some answers coming up in the chat box for question 1. If you are comfortable answering question number 2, you can answer question number 2. Okay, so the answers to the first question are coming up. Ma'am, yes, keep this slide only. And the first question is, how can school district assess the impact of mentorship program on the professional development and job satisfaction of participating teachers? Okay, so some of you have given the answers that by providing a positive feedback, by appreciating the participating teachers, sharing their success stories. Okay, very good. Providing a chance to share, motivating through appreciation. Okay. I also have answers to question 2. Question 2 is, as the school district considers expanding mentorship program to more teachers, what strategies can be implemented to ensure the scalability and sustainability of the initiative? So I can read the answer in the chat box. It is, they need to not only be comfortable with the mentors, but also with others, Karen or the new teachers who would be working with should be considered very much. Yes. And second is giving a feedback or review their performance to get a feedback from the stakeholders. Okay. So basically, if I can get a thumbs up, even if you have read the question and understood from this case study what is expected of a mentor, if I can see your reaction as a thumbs up or I would know that you have understood. Yes, thank you so much. Okay, so can I proceed? Yes, Smita ma'am. Smita Swami ma'am has raised her hand. Would she like to share something?
Maybe because of thumbs up, the hand was raised.
Okay, sir. Okay. So let's move on to the next slide, ma'am. Ma'am, next slide, please. Okay. Now, all the answers that were posted in the chat box or everything that you heard of until now, whatever I spoke to you, was basically about building a positive and productive relationship with your teacher candidate, that is with your mentees. Okay. Now, mentoring teachers, you will know, is not easy because of the list of the adult learners that I showcased just now, right? It's not easy. It's definitely an art and science of teaching. And the third thing that you need to be mindful of is fostering social awareness and an appetite for professional growth. So as I mentioned in the beginning, whenever you want them to do something or whenever you are sharing something, they should leave the session with a thought that, okay, it is applicable. I can do it. Let me try it out. Let me see how it works better. Therefore, in order to achieve your goal as a mentor, you need to make them feel valued. You need to make them feel that, what they say. See, sometimes they might share experiences or they might share certain things which are not very relevant to your topic. You are saying something, they are saying something else. Okay. So you need to first talk to them, make them understand what is your plan, what you're supposed to be doing. Make them give that feeling, that you are approachable. Okay. Make them feel valued, make them feel special, in simple words. And once they are connected with you, you will see that they will do anything for you. Now, over here, I see one answer in the chat box, or Farah ma'am has shared that according to her, make the new teachers comfortable with you first, give them time to observe, provide positive answers whenever they are approaching you. Yes, very much. I totally agree with this, and I'm sure all of you will also agree with what Ms. Farah has shared, that it is very important to, um, make sure that you are approachable. Second thing that Ms. Dipti has shared is not comparing and supporting equally. This is also very, very important, because the minute you compare, their interest will die down. And the minute you encourage, the more you encourage, sometimes, certain things you have to overlook. Okay. And you have to, act as if it is whatever they say is not affecting you. It may have affected, sometimes they are being negative, and as a human being, it will affect you. I'm not saying that it won't, but don't show it on your face. Okay. Just be very kind. Sometimes you really, sometimes it's like testing your patience. But in the process, they might trouble you, they might distract you, they might, say all sorts of things, they might have a negative approach. But you be on your guard and you be positive, you be approachable, you be flexible, and you will see in the passage of time, they will be the ones running after you. They would want to model you. You would be an inspiration to them. And I have experienced this in my school. See, in the very first time, when you tell them to do a task, immediately the first reaction will be already they have so much of work to do. They have corrections, they have teaching, they have question papers, and the list goes on and on, that even after school hours, teachers are working. Okay. But your very first approach or your very first impression is their last impression. So your very first impression will be that they should be comfortable with you. Okay. So make them feel comfortable, raise the confidence level. Okay. Uh, don't be negative. Even if they are, still carry a smile. Tell them maybe you have a different perspective, but I have something to say. Let me share my experience. Let me share how it can be useful. Give them reasons why you are doing a particular thing. Just don't tell them, okay, this is the lesson plan and you have to follow. No. First, in certain scenarios, where if you have a lot of time, you ask them, okay, what are the elements of an outstanding lesson? For example, I'm just giving an example. So they will share. Okay. You put all of them together and build the plan. Okay. In another scenario where you do not have time and you want to share all the information quickly, you share it. But also tell them, if you have any queries, get back to me. Also make them feel important. See, this is what I have shared, but I want to know your inputs on this. You can also tell them, this is what I have shared because this is a mandate. Or you can say, I have shared this because the outcome that I am looking at is this. Always give them proper reasons so that they will not be negative about what you're saying. Okay. Even if they are negative, it will be only 1 or 2% negativity, the rest, they will understand what you mean, or you mean business, and these are your goals. So be very clear about what your goals are, what you want them to achieve, what they are going to be, what are the benefits of that, and how they will progress. This is very important, because when you come to know that when you do a list of things, okay, there is going to be progress, and your progress will help you to get a promotion, you will do it, right? In the same way, as we as leaders need to be very mindful of their perspectives. Yes, as Farah ma'am has shared, and I am simultaneously reading the chats also, but due to time constraint, I need to finish off this. Let me share the next slide with you. Okay, what expectations would you want to discuss with your teacher, mentee, during your first meeting? Please post your answers in the chat box. So, it's the first day that you have met a set of teachers, okay, whom you are supposed to be mentoring. So, what expectations are you going to discuss with him or her in the very first meeting? Okay, have an honest and open communication. Very good. You would want to need to know about them. Yes, need your dedication to the profession. Okay, feel free to ask anything you want. Don't hesitate to be attentive. Okay. Plan ideas. Okay. Now tell me, in the very first meeting, if you are going to tell the mentee, okay, these are my expectations. Okay. Do you think the mentee will be comfortable when you give them a list of expectations? No, not at all. In the very first meeting, what I would suggest is talk less about expectations, build a rapport with them. Somebody has shared in the chat box. The very first thing that you should do with your mentee is get to know your mentee. And your mentee should also know you well. Once that rapport is built, every other thing will fall into place. So very important for you to build a good rapport, to build a good relationship where the mentee feels that, okay, yes, I can go to this person anytime. He's the first person or she is the first person whom I can approach. Okay. Can we have the next slide, please? Okay. These are certain things that we should keep in mind. Your communication has to be very transparent. You cannot say, somebody has asked me a question, Ms. Neelam. Could you please clarify whether their language formula is to be compulsorily implemented in this session or no? I did not understand the question, ma'am.
No, that's
Please.
a different question, Miss. That is not related to this topic.
Okay, yes. Okay. So things that you need to keep in mind is keep your communication very transparent. It cannot be that you're telling one mentee, that you are good, and you tell the other mentee, she's not very good, and, she should have done this and she should have done that. And why, don't communicate to another person what you want to communicate to B. So if A is good and B is struggling, please do not tell mentee A that the flaws of mentee B. Keep your communication with each and every mentee very transparent and very clear. Okay. Second, make them, as I mentioned earlier, whatever you're sharing, make it very clear to them what is your goal and what is the objective. Okay. Sometimes we give them certain things without telling them what is their role and responsibility. For example, there is an annual gathering and you just share a duty list with them. Okay? But certain roles are not very clear in that list. Suppose, for example, a teacher has to set up the stage. Okay? So you might tell against the stage setup, you might write the name of Mr. X. Okay? Now, Mr. X understands that the stage has to be set. By this, he or she may understand that I have to arrange the mics, I have to keep the podium, I have to make sure that the sound quality is good and all the lights are good. Okay. But apart from all these things, you may want him or her to even decorate the stage, which is not clear. So when you are writing stage setup, whatever duties you are giving them, I just gave an example of an annual gathering, but whatever duties you are giving them, please tell them what is their role. Okay, and for what will they be accountable for? Another thing, please make sure that you maintain confidentiality. This is very important. If a mentee is sharing a concern with you, please do not share it with the other leaders in the team. It is not advisable. Try to sort the issue at your own level. If it still doesn't work, then take them into confidence and tell them if you can share it with another person. That is very important. Okay, give them a feedback, not a negative feedback. If you can put the negative feedback in a positive way, very good. Okay, normally when I go for lesson observations and I want to give the feedback, I directly don't give them the feedback. First, I give them a self-reflection form and I request them that, okay, you have done the lesson well. What went well in the lesson? What did you like the best? Excuse me. And then from them, I get their feedback, and based on that feedback, I build my feedback. So make sure that you give them constructive feedback. Be very much mindful of their learning styles. Okay. Keeping their learning styles in mind, share with them your expectations, be very professional. Let them know where are the resources and what kind of support will be provided. Make sure that you adhere to timelines and make them also follow the deadlines and be flexible. Can we move on to the next, ma'am? Next slide. All these things that I have shared here, the skills required by mentors, you have already shared in the meeting chat. Okay. So you all are aware of this. The style of questioning should be appropriate, should be positive, should not be a direct question which will hurt their sentiments. And I'm sure by now we all know that listening is very important. First, we must listen to what their concerns are and then build upon, whatever we need to convey to them. So interpersonal skills is very important. Next slide, ma'am. Okay. Now, in order to know them or in order to analyze them, there are various processes which I have shared here. One could be you ask them what is their need. So you can send out a survey where you can have needs analysis or SWOT analysis, that is strengths, weaknesses test, or you can have strength finder test. There is Clifton's strength finder test for which you have to pay, but there are many other strength finder tests which you can ask them to attempt, like the high five challenge. It's another strength finder test. Through this, you will come to know their strengths and weaknesses. So the more you focus on the strengths, the more you are helping them grow in the organization. Okay. Then demonstration and lessons. It's not only in lessons, but they will always learn better if you give a demo. have training programs. I'm sure that all the schools are having various training programs based on the need of the hour. Okay, monitor their progress, have give them case studies to solve so that they will understand how to react or respond, whether reaction is important or response is necessary. This they will learn if you give them case studies. Okay, then have interviews. Now suppose you are having a position in the school for a particular uh, faculty, or for, let's say, head of department. Okay, and certain people have applied for that position. So you train them how to speak in the interviews, how to, respond to questions, how to answer the questions. You can have mock interviews. So all these things, when you are empowering your mentees, they will be able to develop and grow in their careers. Okay, because they are developing leaders basically. So you are a mentor who is empowering leaders. It's just that you're not getting the work done, you're not raising the bar, but you are also developing leaders. Okay, next slide, ma'am. This is the path to professional presence. Okay, and the path is, you should have a vision, you should prepare, you should be able to deliver, then you should have evidences to gauge the impact, and definitely the outcome should be aligned to your goal. So this is the path to professional presence. Okay, first, very important, as leaders we all should have a vision. Second is preparation and planning is important. The way you deliver it is very important. Sometimes you have to act, sometimes you have to do a demonstration, sometimes you have to do a TED talk, different ways of delivery. You have to find out how impactful it is, and then check whether your outcome is aligned to your goal and you have been able to achieve your target. Can we have the next slide, ma'am? Okay, 6 practices. Build trust, actively listen, establish venues and modes. This is keeping in mind different styles of learners. Okay, they should know when to approach you, when not to approach you. That will happen with the passage of time. Once you build a good rapport with them and once you understand them, okay, invest time, that you will definitely do, but use a strengths based approach. Encourage engagement with each other. So let them know that the more they collaborate with people, the better it is, and the more you tap on their strengths, the better they will be able to utilize their potential. So a mentor, ma'am, next slide. A mentor is basically a person who empowers another person, who helps the person to see the impossible. Okay, so now I would like to conclude with the next slide. There are 6 personal branding Bs. Now, why I call them Bs? Because it is be likable, be consistent, be passionate. Yes, I know that all of us are passionate, but remember that the smile on your face is contagious. So even if you have your challenges, even if you have your struggles, even if you have the passion, oh, I have to complete this, I have deadlines, even then, when you wear a smile, things get better and work will be done faster. Be interactive, be memorable, and be engaged. So these are the personal branding Bs that you all need to be aware of and that you need to keep in mind in order to achieve as a team and in order to benefit the organizational goals. Can we have the next slide, ma'am? So here I end with a quote. You can't teach people everything they need to know, the best you can do is position them where they can find a way, where they can find what they need to know and when they need to know it. So I sum it up with this. If you have questions, please share it in the chat box. I have one question. Should a mentor approach the mentee, or is it vice versa? No, it's better that the mentor approaches the mentee if the mentee is new to the organization. Because whenever someone new comes in, like imagine you are also joining a new organization, you don't know people around. So you will always look around for a person who will make you feel comfortable. So be that first person, to approach the mentee so that you get the desired result and the mentee remembers you. Like among the 6 B's, there was one B, memorable. So anyone else has a question? I hope I've answered that question. No other question.
Yeah, ma'am. No more questions, I agree.
Yeah, okay. So thank you
There
so
was a
much.
question, I think, Anjali ma'am, there was a question in the chat box.
I answered that question, sir.
Okay,
Ma'am,
fine. Yeah,
taking your question.
yeah.
So thank you, sir, for this wonderful opportunity. Dr. Abdul Salam, sir. And I have been associated with sir for the past 3 to 4 years. It has been a long journey, and sir has given me many opportunities to learn and grow. And I'm really grateful to you, sir, for all the opportunities that you have provided and for all the insights that you've shared with me. They have really helped me in my professional journey. Thank you so much.
Thank you, ma'am. Actually, we are learning a lot from you because we know you are working in an institution which has a great mission that is definitely, imparting so many things to all the educators. It is great to associate with you. Thank you so much. Anjali ma'am, you can take up the questions or we can wind up.
Yes, sir. I think there's no more questions. There is the chat box. I can't see any other question. I would like to extend my heartfelt gratitude to our esteemed resource person for sharing her valuable insights during this enlightening webinar. And special thanks to Extra Mile and its organizers, Dr. Abdul Salam sir, Mr. Biju S. Pirle sir, for orchestrating this event seamlessly. A big thank you to the attentive audience for your active participation. Your presence made this webinar truly enriching. On that note of gratitude, it's time to hear from Salam sir once again. Over to you, sir.
Yeah, well, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Anjali ma'am, for the great help you have extended to. Always ready to help the educators. That's a kind of, positive energy that we are, getting from all the moderators and resource persons in the journey of helping the learners. So thank you so much, Anjali ma'am. And as we said, it is always great associating with Lavina ma'am, who has a lot of expertise in the field of education. She is a true mentor, as we can understand, handling many of teachers and under her, and also she has been serving a very famous, group of institutions for many years in Dubai. So that's a great, kind of learning she is imparting to us. In fact, we have had a serious learning today, especially the kind of learners, the types of learners, and the strategies to be adopted. One thing to keep in mind is action speaks more than words. So, being mentors, we should be role models. We speak one thing, act another thing. Definitely spoils the relationship. So, a mentor should be a role model and should have the qualities, expected qualities more importantly, the compassion. That is what a mentee is looking forward to. And for both mentor and mentee, there is one thing: acceptance. To be able to accept each other's point of view, to be able to accept each other's strengths and weakness, that is very important. Then only the mentor-mentee relationship will be very strong and very positive. In fact, you can see it is people finding it difficult with mingling with others and all, just because of this acceptance, lack of acceptance, I should say. So everybody should be open to others' strengths and weakness and try to learn with a positive mind and acceptance. Thank you so much. I could see a lot of leaders have joined us today. I could see a lot of leaders whom I know personally and professionally. Thank you so much for joining. Definitely, you will make use of these tips shared by Lavina ma'am. Definitely, this is going to help us to become a great mentor. In fact, we leaders are actually mentors. We are mentoring on a day-to-day basis. We should be able to mentor each and everyone, not only the teachers. It is relevant in our family as well. Mentoring is a great and great gesture, we should say. In fact, we are, as teachers, we are mentoring students. So thank you so much, Lavina ma'am, for giving us deep learning today. It was not a surface learning, it was a deep learning. So thank you so much, each and everyone, for joining. Keep in touch. See you next week. Next week, we are coming up with something very effective for leaders, not only leaders, all the teachers, especially those who are dealing with pre-primary. So keep in touch. Have a good night. Anjali ma'am, Lavina ma'am, once again, Biju sir, everyone. Thank you so much. We are going.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you.
Thank you.
Lavina ma'am, thank you so much.
Thank you, sir. Thank you so much.